Welcome to British Strength Radio, episode number 10, with Steve MacNeil and Steph Taylor. Before we get on to an intro to these two guys, I'd just like to say that you can support the generation of future content for British Strength Radio by subscribing to British Strength Magazine at britishstrengthmagazine.com. We have some of the brightest minds in strength sports writing for the magazine and interviews with the best athletes in the UK. So head over to britishstrengthmagazine.com and subscribe. Steve MacNeil and Steph Taylor.
Hello.
Hold the mic, mate. You need to hold the mic probably about this far away. Why don't you both give us a little little intro to who you are and what you've done. Steve, do you want to go first? Tell me about your best lifts and your best achievements in the sport.
Right, so I've been
a bit closer with the mic, please.
Competitively powerlifting about 10 years. Best squat is about 450 multi-ply. Best bench 377.5. Best deadlift 310 at the moment, and best total 1,047 kilos. That was done about 3 years ago though, because I had a little play with single ply for a little while.
Yeah, I actually remember when you did your first 1,000, but it was also the same comp that I first ever saw you. Was it the Iron Firework?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw you, because I distinctly remember being sat next to Martin Brown and you were sat near us, and I remember Brown saying, "God, Tubby's massive, isn't he?" That was it. I honestly remember it like as clear as day, and it was like 2014, and that was your first 1,000, and I very, very, very clearly remember it. Steph, could you give us a little intro?
I've been lifting about 5 years now. Started raw, moved to equipped. Raw numbers are not anything to be amazed about. So my best equipped squat at the minute is 230, and that's in comp at the WPO. And best bench would be 130 in comp, and best deadlift would be 202.5 in comp.
That's it,
Yeah, 562.5 total at the WPO in November would be my latest.
See, when I read that on your info, because obviously you both sent info over. Obviously, because I'm not super in touch with multiply stuff, I think this is why it's good that I'm doing these podcasts, because there's so much that I talk to people about that I don't really know much about, to be fair. I guess we all kind of float around in our own niche, really, in a way, like primarily, which most people do in anything. I didn't know that WPO had done its first. Maybe I did, but I forgot. I didn't know that WPO was back and it had done its first competition yet.
Yeah, in last November. It tagged on to the back of the WPC Worlds, I think.
Yeah, they did it in Florida, yeah.
That's why a lot of people missed it, I think.
Right,
and there
okay.
wasn't a live stream either.
Or maybe I did, and maybe I missed it. But yeah, now I know that it's ESPN now, right? It's going on ESPN.
ESPN 3.
Yeah, ESPN 3 this time.
Steve, I'm sorry, mate. I know your front delts. I know, but you're going to have to hold that mic closer.
Keep trying, sorry.
But you two both multiply, yeah? You both compete multiply?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just to kind of make that clear for everyone, because I don't think we've had... I'm going
had
through
Martin, didn't you?
Yeah, who had competed multiply? Yep. Yeah, he'd done over 1,000, I think, back in the day.
Can't remember. I know he totaled 1,000 and got 410 squat.
Yeah, so he was. He was a formidable multiply lifter. Okay, Steve. So let's kind of go back to the beginning. You're originally from Southeast London.
Yep.
And you didn't start out like powerlifting as your first ever sport. Was it rugby?
It was rugby, yeah. Played at National League 2, I think, level for my local club.
Right, so
quite good.
You're pretty damn good. What position?
Loose head prop.
Right, okay. So yeah, I would probably imagine you as a front row guy.
Yeah, it was horrible.
am I right in saying that you got kind of like sidelined from rugby due to illness?
Yeah, one Christmas I got a flu. I thought, I'm feeling really terrible on Christmas Day. I'm going to take some ibuprofen. I'd never taken ibuprofen in my entire life. I woke up Christmas Day and I'd looked like someone had took a cheese grater to my face, my private parts, you name it. I was coughing up blood. It was in a real bad way, and got rushed to hospital, put on life support. My body was killing me, basically. My immune system was turning against me. It's called Stephen Johnson syndrome. It's quite a really rare 1 in a million people and all that malarkey. And yeah, I had a good few months in hospital. Come back, got myself fit again. First stomach tackled the stomach even, and I threw up down the bloke's black, and I couldn't take being tackled in the stomach anymore, which is a big part of rugby, so I had to stop.
Right, so that was purely because of the ibuprofen?
Yep.
And it can do that to you, like, for good?
Yep, yeah. I've had 3 relapses since. One of them was from deep heat.
Christ
So,
almighty. Like,
so people think I'm a arsehole at competitions when I see him spraying deep heat everywhere and all over the bar, and I'm like, you need to get away from me because that will kill me.
oh my God. And it's one of those things that which you never even know would exist.
Look on
Do
the
you know
back,
what I mean?
it says, do not take if allergic to NSAIDs, and that's what it is, NSAIDs.
I can't even use any gels or anything. And if we're in bed and I need pain relief, I don't use ibuprofen because of Steve.
And it's really annoying.
Yeah.
Especially when I did my knee. They give you a big shot of NSAIDs afterwards, like anti-inflammatories, and I had to forgo all of that.
Yeah, see, because like now at the minute with my knees, I use it like sparingly. Do you know what I mean? And I like having the option. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to stay away from it because I've heard like that long term it's just not good. But it's just nice to have that option and to be on the other end of the spectrum and to be like, well, that'll kill me if I take that.
Oh, I'm an expert at all the other things now, like me cupping and me little oils and all things like that, and me Epsom salt baths and massages. Yeah, I've had to learn how to really look after myself without having to go, oh, I'll just take that.
Yeah, I guess you do. And even for healthy people, NSAIDs aren't the best, are they, long term?
Oh, they rot your stomach.
Okay, so you moved away from the rugby, and how did you actually transition into powerlifting then? Once you figured out that you couldn't take blows to the stomach anymore.
So I started training at a little gym from where I'm from called Ripped, and my best mate Ben took me under his arms and used to train really hard. We were like animals. It was like warfare in the gym every time we trained. It was amazing. It was such a good atmosphere. Go for breakfast afterwards and just laugh it all up. And then he said, you need to take this seriously. I was like, how do I do that? So I entered a strongman competition just for a laugh. Nearly dropped to 110 stone on my face because I couldn't quite reach the 6 foot high platform. And I said, right, we'll give powerlifting a go then, shall we? So I toddled off to bulks and never looked back.
Tell me about Bulk's Gym then.
It was, don't know how you describe it really, because it was kind of, I went there as, I started my powerlifting as multi-ply lifting was starting to dwindle in this country a little bit. So it was awkward. There was like 3 of us lifting equipped, then the rest were raw, and it was all, there was quite a bit of tension between the 2 groups. So at times it wasn't a very nice place to be.
I mean, this could probably stir up something, but
oh, come on, yeah, I'm ready for it.
I probably know some of the people, or know of some of the people from some of the groups. Like, what year was it, and who was it? Who were like the main people in each group?
So when I first started there, you had like Shane. He took me under his wing and got me into the equipped. But at the time, you had Jack, who was still raw.
Jack Chambers.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was still raw. He wasn't quite, because he did go into multiply. So he was the raw, and because if you differ in methods for raw and equipped, it was big clashes.
Right. Okay. So when was it around 20? Was that like 20?
God, we're talking ancient history now. Alex, we've had a lot going on in
Well,
my life.
Jack's only young, isn't he? Jack Chambers, he only looks young. I don't know. He seems young.
Talking about 6 years ago now, 7 years ago.
Right. Okay. So. Okay. Cool. I thought like you'd been doing it longer than that for some reason. I thought you were around in like early 2000s doing powerlifting.
I was dabbling with it, but not
Competing.
properly, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you may have seen the odd Facebook video of me good morning in a squat up or something like that, but I wasn't competing at that time.
Right. Okay. It was just an assumption I'd made, really. Just.
It's because I look old. Not a bad life.
That makes two of us then. Okay, Steph. So, in stark contrast, I remember really you starting because I was going to the same gym at the time. You started under Tanya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah, I did.
so did you go to Tanya looking for a PT, or were you looking to start powerlifting at the time? Was it just kind of something? Was it something that you knew you were going to go into, or did you just want to get a little stronger, get a little fitter, and whatnot?
Well, I didn't really know at the time like why I went to Tanya. All I knew is that I was quite good at picking up weights.
Yeah.
Because I was doing gym classes and like outlifting the men in the gym classes.
Right.
So like I was getting reactions from that. So I was like, oh, actually this feels quite good.
Yeah.
And then through Facebook, kind of seeing Tanya's advertisements for PT clients and stuff. So I kind of found Tanya that way, and then found powerlifting through training with Tanya.
Yeah.
By doing her first competitions, no dumbbells.
Yeah. So I read on your info that at your first comp, and this is crazy now because it said that you benched 25 kilos and you, what was it, deadlift? It was a push pull, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
you deadlifted 60.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, your deadlift 202.5, obviously multiply, but we know that suits don't give loads. Oh God, what was your bench? 130. 130.
130, yeah.
So that is a massive improvement since then, isn't it?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So obviously,
no credit.
So I mean, what do you think the progression was like? Do you think that you gained a lot of strength since you went equipped, or do you think has it just been like gradual? Because it's been a few. What has it been? 5 years?
5 years, yeah. I think it's been gradual. Obviously, I think I started to take it a lot more seriously when I met Steve, to be honest. And obviously, Steve being an equipped lifter, I was very intrigued by it all.
Yeah.
It's like I travelled to Finland to support one of his very first comps that he did after his
accident.
Yeah, his knee accident, and I'd seen that Marianne was lifting at one of these competitions, Marianne Kassonen, and I was like fixated with her. I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that.
She's doing the Irish Pro, isn't she?
So
Because I remember you saying that
Yeah.
she's doing that. I hate admitting all this stuff that I don't know, but I don't know who she is. But you've told me that she's doing the Irish Pro, and I remember you saying that. So you saw her, and
yeah, I just fell in love with everything that she was doing. Like she just caught my attention. I just thought she was like absolutely amazing. So I kind of thought, right, I want to do equipped. Kind of badgered Steve into letting me buy a bench shirt, and it kind of escalated from that. And so yeah, I've like slowly last couple of years, only last 2 years I've done equipped. It is 2 years equipped, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only 2 years equipped, 3 years raw, 3 years raw, 2 years equipped.
that's good going then. And how did you find like the actual transition? Because I've dabbled a little bit. I've tried a deadlift suit, and I've tried a deadlift suit to squat in. I've tried a bench shirt, and man, it is painful. That's the biggest thing I think that people notice, and I think that it's the biggest thing is also the technique is massively different as well. How did you find it at first transitioning? Did you like all those different things, or were you like, what the hell is this?
It was very frustrating, like really frustrating. I had to persevere a lot, a load of tantrums, falling out with myself, with the equipment, with Steve, like blaming everything, being scared at the same time for the numbers, every milestone I hit.
Yeah.
It's like obviously every 10 kilos I got a thing in my head like, oh my God, this is heavy. But yeah, it was very frustrating. But I had to keep at it. Steve helped me with that, kind of kept pushing me. And I got there in the end.
I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Like if you're gonna try something like equipped, or even like powerlifting in general, if anyone's listening who hasn't really done powerlifting, you have to persevere. Like there'll be just not everything's gonna click straight away.
People think they can just put a suit on and it's going to do the job for them.
Oh, don't start me off on that one.
We come across so many,
Don't start me off.
many people that think that they can. It's a magic suit. Is it?
It's so
I've
hard.
had people come up to me like when I've been putting a bench shirt on and say like, "Oh, is that like wearing a big elastic band? So like it does it all for you?" And it infuriates you. You have to walk away because it's annoying.
It's a whole new skill set.
People's perception of the equipment that you're wearing is just like it's totally wrong. They just don't understand at all.
Yeah, because a bench shirt, like for example, like you're saying there, I would say a bench shirt is nothing like a slingshot.
Oh, I've got a slingshot in my car. I'll let you use it when you're next down. You'll bench 400 kilo in it.
Are we talking about the one that you told me about
Yeah.
the other day?
The Russian
Yeah.
wonder, as I call them. And you can see them. You can see them on YouTube and Instagram and everything. And you've got these Russians, and I know I'm stronger than them because I've outbenched them at world competitions. And all of a sudden, they're chucking 400 at spotters in these slingshots. There's no skill set to them whatsoever. Chuck them back in a bench shirt, yeah, they'll be benching 250 again.
Yeah, and whereas when it goes bad in a bench shirt, it goes over your face normally, doesn't it?
You've got it on your face, on your belly, around your throat, you name it, it'll end up there where you don't want it.
Yeah. So speaking of Steve getting you into lifting, how did you two meet?
Oh, it was a...
Folkestone.
Well, it wasn't even the Alan Collins Cup. It wasn't even that then. It was the... I decided I wanted to do the Worlds, so I entered the WPC Grand Prix. I think it was only bench and deadlift only then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
push pull.
Full qualifying.
I'd entered it and I'd gone down. I'm still recovering from my injury, really. And it's the first time I benched 300 in a comp. And I just remember Steph had posted something on, because I was, added her on Facebook and whatnot, and she'd posted something about being in this hellhole hotel. And I said, well, and I just messaged her and I said, well, you're lucky because I've just flushed a toilet and I've just seen it come back out into the room following me. And then we didn't stop talking since then. And then think weekend after the comp, I said, oh, I'll come up and see you. And she was like, are you nuts? It's a 4-hour drive. I went, oh, I've got nothing else to do. And sure enough, I met you outside your work and we've never looked back.
Yeah, you did. It was as random as that.
Yeah, I think I even put in my food order, didn't I?
Yeah, you did actually.
That was maybe his initial motive.
You just
the
wanted
food.
You just wanted free food.
That's a long old drive for just a triple Big Mac.
A triple Big Mac. I remember that.
Okay, so Steve, you mentioned your knee a couple of times.
Yeah.
The injury and stuff. What actually happened?
So, I'd just done my 410 about 2 months before, and there was rumours that Callie Rassilon was looking for more lifters for record breakers, and Jack was already going, so we'd gone down to Genesis to train, and I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll push my numbers, see where I'm at, see if I can get an invitation. Everything was going perfect. Squatted 420 like it was fresh air. I'm like, whoa. I can even remember texting Andy Cusack the video of the 420 and it was perfect. And then I'm sure it was 480 or something stupid was loaded, and I unracked it, and do you know what? The stupid thing in my head went through, cool, that don't feel as heavy as I thought it would. Started going down, and the next thing I know, I'm flying across the gym, face first. The bar's gone the other way. I'm in a heap on the floor. I'd headbutted the monolift as well. And I'd sort of come round and I was in absolute agony. And I can just remember Bulldog was there, cradled in his arms. I can remember crying my eyes out, tell me I'm not finished. And you know, he looked at me and that's when I knew it was bad, because he looked at me, he couldn't say a thing to me. And the funny thing is, Colin Bryce of all people was in there training, and he comes screaming towards the monolift with me on the floor in Bulldog's arms, went, you've torn your ACL. And I can remember looking up and saying, fuck off. And then so they got me out my kit, and then I was threatening to cut that off me because I couldn't move. I went, it's a custom squat suit, do not cut this off me. £480 worth, do not cut that off me. They got me off it, and I just remember looking down at my knee and it was in pieces. There was you could actually see things were not where they were supposed to be. So I got a private scan done, and the list was horrendous. You know it's bad when the person doing the scan can't look you in the face afterwards. Come out, and so I completely ruptured my ACL, fractured, completely disintegrated the meniscus. The PSL had also gone. I detached my quad from the bone and split what's the bone down the front? Tibula, straight down the middle.
Christ, that is.
I did a good one.
That is mad. And what was the rehab like? I guess it was a lot of just. You had to sit about at first, right?
I had a nervous breakdown as well at the same time, and a divorce.
Right.
So it comes in threes. I remember being told by the consultant properly and literally just falling on the floor in tears, saying, "No, you can't be right," and then being told I'd probably never walk again. So I had the operation done, 6 hours. Numerous metal bits were put in, and they took bits from places and sewed it in, and then they replaced other bits and all this. I can't go through a scanner at the airport no more. And then the rehab was absolute hell. I'm not even going to lie, it was hell.
But you're back.
Yeah, sort of.
And you recently squatted 450.
Yeah, like fresh air.
And what did you do 455 after that? But obviously it was disallowed for depth.
Oh no, it was 460 and something. What was going on with the rack? I couldn't quite swing it out, so I just called it. But nothing was done on depth on that day.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought I saw the 460 and then it was disallowed. But yeah. So you mentioned you had a nervous breakdown. And you also mentioned to me when we were getting into this interview that you suffer from bipolar, and that you don't mind talking about it. So, do you want to give us a bit of a background?
So
I'm sorry again, mate. I'm really.
Sorry. I'll get closer.
This is going to sound weird, but if you're really struggling and you want me to hold the mic for you,
it's okay. I'll be okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So it's always veered its head. In a nasty way when I was growing up. My childhood was not the best, let's put it that way. So it's always veered its head through obsession. I'd get obsessed with things, and then I'd have really low months of just not wanting to talk to anyone and anything like that. And then the obsession stuff would start again. I'd be super heavy, spending stupid money on everything and things like that. And then it all got really nasty. I started being quite destructive with relationships and things like that. So that's sort of why I got divorced. But anyway, so yeah, it goes in ebbs and waves. I'm a lot more settled now and balanced.
Okay.
I still have middays and weeks even where I am at low. Nothing Steph can do, nothing anyone can do can talk me out of it. I've just got to get through it. I'll try my best, because obviously we've got step kids and whatnot in the house. I'll try my best not to let it affect anyone, but
I can almost spot an episode coming on before they get really bad.
Yeah.
So I can try and stem it off from that.
Okay, so obviously when you say there's nothing anyone can do, and that you have to get through it, obviously there's an effort being made by you there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like you've just gone, I feel low, so therefore I'll stay in bed. And obviously people struggle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can only really help yourself, and that's something that I've heard a lot. Don't suffer from anything myself, but I hear that a lot. What kind of things do you use to kind of get yourself through it, like mentally?
Oh, God. I mean,
I've
got my coping strategies and things like that. It is literally just forcing it myself. I have to be, and I'll tell you what, forcing myself out of my lows is harder than any squat or any bench that I've ever done in my life. It takes everything, and it is mentally and physically draining when you're at your lowest. To get yourself out of that, it's horrid, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies. Not that I've got any, but you know what I mean. You wouldn't wish it on anyone, and it's just horrid.
Do you feel like there are different times, like does comp prep affect it? Like, obviously you've got maybe different things going on physiologically, but you've also got like a different psychological. You've got a goal ahead of you. Do you ever find that like you get a bit of a, you know, when you've not got a comp in ages, do you ever find that makes you feel a bit low?
No, one of my big things when I was going through my breakdown, it was the counsellor was adamant that she wanted to detach my powerlifting, which was really important to me, from my mental health. So, you know, when you see these people saying that they use their lifting to get them through bad times, I've had to learn to not do that, because because what happened was I lost my coping strategy at that time, which was lifting when I hurt myself, when I hurt my leg. When I lost that was it. I've got no thing. I was sectioned. There you go. Because I'd lost everything.
Right.
And I went absolutely mad in the hospital, accused the nurse of witchcraft and everything else. And next thing you know, I'm in a straitjacket being wheeled across the road.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
that was a big thing for me, is learning to detach my lifting from my mental health.
And you feel that's worked, yeah?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not an expert, but I'd be inclined to agree with that, because I can't even think, not even specific examples, but I look around and I think I see a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people who've got massive issues and they just use powerlifting to not even rectify those issues, because obviously they're never going to, but it's just like a constant coping strategy. And it's kind of like, well, does that really solve it?
Well, that could be half of the problem with Instagram and Facebook and powerlifting, because people are channeling all their efforts to get themselves better through their powerlifting, and because they're not getting their instant gratification with likes and "oh my God, you're amazing" through their comments on their feeds, and then it rebounds and keeps rolling and rolling, and they're not getting any better because no one's telling them they're great, and they think, but my lifting's supposed to help. That person there said their lifting helps their mental health. Oh, that could be a big part of what's going on with the whole social media thing at the minute.
Yeah, probably social media makes it worse. It's not just powerlifting then, it's powerlifting and it's on social media, like you say. Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about multi-ply lifting in general. And in fact, no, let's not. Steph, you mentioned, Steve, you just mentioned that you got stepkids. Steph, you mentioned that you got kids. I know how much things change when you have kids and when you're trying to train, and how much time that training takes for me. You two both multi-ply lifters. Do you find that it's really hard to juggle?
We've got it down to a T, I think.
Yeah, we've kind of worked it out, and now the kids are older. It helps with the kids being older.
We've got a really understanding gym as well.
Yeah.
Just shout out to Strength Factory in West Dalton. The owner is amazing. He's got no problem with like little Emily sitting in the corner.
Yeah, coming in, sitting down on the sofa as long as she behaves herself.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that really
and
helps
that
out
helps
loads.
Massively, yeah. Because the boys are a little bit older, so they can be trusted for an hour or so indoors.
Yeah.
So we got it sussed, and then because I work such weird shifts, like 12/8s, we've got the morning. So we drop them off at school.
Yeah, then I'm in school, train in the morning, and then
straight to the gym. So we've got quite a good little routine, which does get messed up occasionally. It works for us.
You two sound like you've got it like sorted a bit better than I have then, because I think I've been in the bad books today because I spent a bit too much time.
Oh, I still get told off. Especially like when you're coming up to your comp, when your sessions have gone from 2 hours to 3-4 hours.
This is my problem, yeah.
You said you was taking me here. Oh, no, whoops.
Did you go to see the owls today then?
No, someone decided to crash on the M61, and my very good friend Josh, who lives up that way, messaged me saying, do not bother coming up here because there's been a crash on the M61, so no, we haven't seen the owls today.
Yeah, so we took Emily out for food instead.
Yeah, TGI Fridays got smashed.
I'm hoping to go there tomorrow, not TGI's, the owls.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about equip lifting. As it happens, last night I watched the same the long Instagram videos. Insta TV, that's the one.
Come on, it's all.
I watched, I'm just not down with the kids enough, I guess. I watched the same one that you watched last night. Steph, did you watch it, the one with Dave Tate? Where he just kind of, he basically talks about the quote-unquote death of multi-ply. And he basically says, from what I got from it anyway, that multi-ply didn't die. The lifters didn't like bugger off, so to speak. They rather, raw lifting just got way more prominent, and the percentage of people doing multi-ply got lower. Also in the US, you have high school lifting, which is equipped, but it's single ply. And the reason why new people aren't coming into multi-ply is because the grassroots is not being taken care of. There's no one bringing new people into multi-ply. What do you two think about that?
I agreed with every word he said. There is no investment in multi-ply lifting. Put it that way. The gear manufacturers, they're not. They should be interested, but they're not coming forth with sponsorships for a lot of lifters.
It's good that it's done in high schools. It's definitely something that they could probably jump on.
It's not done over here. I mean, you've got one promoter really in Ireland, Shane Brodie, who puts on Irish Pro, puts his money where his mouth is. I mean, he's a equipped lifter, so he's a vested interest in it anyway. But he goes out, gets sponsorship, and you've got a flight of 30 equipped lifters in the British Isles, and that's unheard of.
Right.
So, but that's from someone putting their money where their mouth is and pushing it. Where, I mean, who else do you have in Europe doing that? You've got Callie Rassanen puts on money meets, trying to push it a bit. But other than that, you've not got a lot going on for equipped lifters. Whereas if you look at Raw, I mean, look what did you have last weekend? You had the ABS Pro.
Yeah.
You've got loads of Raw and big money, big money. Not just like, I mean, WPO I think is offering
There's
$5,000.
definitely more.
Whereas you
raw
go to big
comps.
dogs and things like that, you've got mega money. You've got money you could survive the year on.
I think I read 50 grand was the next prize fund for big dogs.
There you go.
Yeah.
WPO's 5. And
Yeah,
that's
for the
big
whole
one.
thing for the.
Oh no, that's
for the winner.
For the winner of each
Oh well, that
category.
okay.
So
That's a bit better.
But you win big dogs, you're walking away with 20 grand, aren't you?
Yeah, 20 grand for first, isn't it? And we recently spoke, all three of us, about WPO and the people who are actually being selected. Basically, we said that it's not down to meritocracy; it's down to names. What do you think?
There's been rumours that someone has been asked to lift in WPO who has never lifted in equipped, purely based on their Instagram following.
So, would that someone be Steffi Cohen?
I don't know.
All right, okay. So I've heard a rumor that it was Steffi Cohen, and that she's never lifted equipped, and she's been asked.
But she's injured now, apparently.
Right. Okay. So obviously, did you guys apply? Did you get invites? Like, what's the system like?
Oh, so this is a bit of a thingy subject here, Alex. You're trying to stitch me up a bit here.
I'm not. I just want to know what your opinion is.
Right. So when we entered Irish Pro early in the year, it was advertised as a WPO qualifier.
Ah, yeah. Right.
And
It's
then
coming
we've
back to me now.
since it's been said, no, it's not. We've filled our places. So it's like, oh, thanks for that, because we was all...
We were lining up Irish Pro to qualify.
Getting my numbers up, looking at putting up I think it was a 600 Glossbrenner, very bare minimum. So I'd worked it out that I could be 630, 640 in time for Irish Pro.
Right.
I'd lined up someone who was potentially looking at sponsoring me, family members, to get me out there for the finals. Then you get told, oh no, we filled our places now, there's no spaces left. Well, but you might get a chance next year. And this has not got any reflection on Irish Pro organisers. This is whoever's organising the selection of WPO. And I don't know where that come from, because then I've heard that, we was told it was too close. We weren't asked. No one spoke to any of the lifters as far as aware to see whether we could turn it round, because I think it's 4 weeks after Irish Pro. No one asked any of the lifters, so it was just assumed that we wouldn't be able to turn it round.
Right. So, okay, on the flip side then, what do you think could be done? Because obviously the main thing that jumps out to me that people are talking about is the WPO, that will be the thing, with it being on ASPN, for example, that might, provide that thing which entices the grassroots a little bit more, as long as people support the grassroots. What do you think can be done, basically? Because...
See, I've got other views on it. It's being put on at 1 p.m. on a weekday. You're not going to get people watching it. Unless it's repeated, there will not be people watching it. So we'll watch it because we're multiplier. We love multiplier equipped lifting. But is your boss going to let you watch powerlifting on your live stream?
No.
So you're not going to get the
he didn't let me send a text the other day, and that
Exactly.
that caused words to be had.
So, you know what I mean? It's not... It's great. Don't get me wrong. Getting some more focus on multiply, it's great, but I think it's slightly not been done correctly. It needs to be on a Saturday or a Sunday when people are going to be able to sit in front of a screen and watch what's going on.
Exactly, and a point of focus, isn't it? It's kind of been put... It's already been put on the sideline before it's even kicked off, really.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think it'll take off at all.
You wouldn't see Pro Raw or Big Dogs on a Monday afternoon.
No, that's a very good point. It's a big thing.
And this is supposed to be the pinnacle of equipped lifting, but it's on at the same time as Neighbours. You know what I mean?
Okay then, how about like a bit closer to home, like in the UK? Obviously, we just said we've got the Irish Pro. What do you reckon about the guys over here? About what we can do, about what you can do in the UK to get multiply lifting nice and popular?
It's so fractured at the minute. There's us. I don't know of any other multiply lifters in our area.
I think people are put off by the price of equipment.
Yeah, but you say that.
First
You
off.
say that. People will go and buy a pair of £90 SBD knee sleeves.
I know what you're saying,
But
but
they
then
won't
they're
buy
not really willing. I think a lot of people say, "Oh, I'd love to try that," but then never actually go and put the money where the mouth is and
I'll show you
buy
my
a piece
I'll
of
show you my
equipment
Instagram
and might
DMs.
actually try it.
Oh, I must get 4 or 5 a week. Oh, can we come down and try equipped? Yeah, I'll train this time and this time. Do they turn up? No. Probably.
It's normally people that live like really far away that are interested in training with us that never really make the effort to come down.
I mean, everyone's welcome. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care
don't
even
mind.
if you've slagged me off on social media before. If you want to come and train, that's it. That's fine by me. But they never turn up. So, I don't know, there just seems to be this big stigma about equipped lifting, especially in this country. You don't so much get it in America, but in this country, I don't know what it is, but...
It's not an individual thing. You need a team of people around you to do it. You can't do it by yourself.
But why would you disregard something like a 90 kilo lifter? If you learn to use that kit, you can be stronger than a 140 kilo lifter. Why would you not want to do that? Why would you not want to devote a bit of time to it rather than just slipping some sleeves on and going for it? There's no skill set there. Whereas, yeah, it is hard, but once you get your foot in the door, it stops being so hard, and then you can really start pushing some big, reasonable numbers, if not well-beaten numbers, without not a lot of effort. There is effort, but it's not very hard to get quite good once you've got the basics in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Dave said. Dave Tate, on that video, he said, with multiply, there's such a big skill thing, and what he loved about it was someone with less raw strength than someone else can beat the person who's just kind of like brutishly stronger, so to speak. And yeah, there definitely
Andy
is
Cusack,
more.
for instance.
Yeah,
What was he, 80 kilo?
but he was super strong raw as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He used to like throw 180 up raw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's this perception that equipped lifters are like weak raw. I think I had a bit of an argument the other week with some kid. He was like messaging me completely out of the blue. Don't even know who he was. Going, equip lifting's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, who are you? And then I looked through his feed and he's benching 130 kilo and he weighs the same as me. I'm like, are you having a laugh, mate? I said, like, I don't even put my shirt on until I bench 220 for reps. So how are we weak raw? It's just this. I mean, you see me today, close grip 210.
Yeah.
That's not weak. And then
I think you've benched 240 raw as well, haven't you?
240 raw, yeah, not in a competition, so apparently doesn't count. But yeah, I've done 240 raw. I've squatted 340 raw, with no sleeves, no nothing. 340 raw, bum to the floor, because that was all we used to do. So, and even now, I squat to 300 before I put my briefs on. So it's just deadlifts. Let's not talk about deadlifts, but.
Everyone has one. Everyone has one that's a bit of the nemesis, don't they?
Still sound too fat to deadlift, but no one listens to me. Leverage has changed. There you go. I'll admit it.
How many more excuses?
My leverage has changed because my belly's in the way.
You just don't like deadlifts.
I don't like deadlifts now.
So, in terms of this is something that you mentioned, Steph. In terms of you mentioned that people don't, like Steve was saying there, you get some trolls, and then you also get like the difference between the way an equipped lift looks and the way a raw lift looks. Did you mean also the judging there, the thing that people comment on and make comment about?
Yeah. Trying to think how to word it.
I'll answer it a little bit if you want. There was one of my lifts the other week, and it was a bit controversial, and I ended up saying it's very hard, and I have full sympathy for the refs at the minute. They are looking at 20 raw lifters. Raw lifting is very easy to judge, and then you've got some idiot at the end of that flight stuffed himself into the tightest shirt, tightest briefs, tightest suit that he can get himself into. That lift looks completely different to what's gone before. I don't care what anyone says. I know the rules say elbows locked, creases below creases and whatnot, but it's very hard to tell when you've got the two next to each other, literally a minute apart. It's very hard to go from that to that.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Like recent competition that I did, for example, I will talk about it. I did do Tanya's no dumbbells competition, and I was the only female equipped, going back to there being equipped numbers in minority. Every competition I do in the UK, I am the only female equipped lifter lifting that day. So I've lifted at the end of a flight, all raw lifters. I feel what the refs are looking at compared to a raw and equipped lifter is completely different, and I think the perception of what they're actually looking for within the lift itself is wrong. So I feel like I get, from a personal point of view, I feel like I get unfairly judged, raft, to the point where you don't get the numbers you want. Like, I didn't get a squat in that comp because I feel as though they were looking for a raw.
Okay, so if we talk about like an equipped versus raw squat, obviously the most notable thing is that the stance is different, but also the biggest one I've heard by equipped lifters as to why things look higher than they should is that you've got the bunching up of the suit near the hip crease. Yeah. Is that what you mean in terms of a squat, would you say?
If you've got refs that have never seen an equipped lift before, because I get folds in, even though my suit's quite tight because it's pulled nicely by my belly, it will fold.
It folds
in
and
certain
then
places.
It depends on colour of suit, what colour of belt you've got on. Is the lines on that suit? Like, are you a skinny lifter? Are you a fatter lifter or a bigger lifter? Have you got hamstrings that drop down? Have you not?
It's like quads.
All this comes into play, really, from an equipped point of view. Like, because my suit's red and blue, isn't it? And it's got patches,
nice black line right down the side.
With a red belt. If you videoed me from side on, it would look completely different. Like, you'd say it wasn't in. But if you was to go on the front, you'd say it was in, and you'd know it was in.
Right.
So that definitely doesn't help when it comes to reffing. Definitely not.
And I guess also with an equipped squat, especially multi-ply, sometimes they do in single ply, but you're not gonna sink an equipped squat.
If you've got multi-ply equipment on, you are not going to sink it. No, because it's not going to allow you to.
You're gonna just get to depth. That's your best case
You
scenario.
are going to get to where you need to be to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's made for. It's not made for you to sit on the floor with. And that's where the perception's coming from. And I think a lot of it has to do with CrossFit. Yeah, they're sitting on the floor with every single squat. That's what, and now that's in people's heads. That's what a squat looks like. The images of, I can't think of any of their names, Briggs and Co. squatting to the floor because that's what they're told to do for their WOD of the day. That's what everyone now thinks a squat looks like. But 15 years ago, or even 10 years ago, that wasn't what a squat looks like. And one of my big pet hates is people saying, oh, it's not to IPF standard. IPF standard depth is the same as GPC depth, same as WPC depth.
The rule book says the same thing.
The rule book is hip crease below top of knee. There is no such thing as IPF depth. It's all about the perception of that day and what they've seen before going and what they might have passed before.
And also let's talk a little bit about the trolls. I mean, obviously you've got people who see, you know what, even though I'm not involved in it, it does kind of annoy me a little bit to see people who have never tried equipment.
Have they even watched Equipped?
And because Raw is so popular, I think it gets to the point where like people just want to be in with the popular crew and they want to slag Equipped lifting off.
Oh, it's
just so that they can be fashionable.
Yeah.
Sorry mate, again a little reminder. You know what we could do? Just hold the mic a little bit lower so that you've got that. There we go. So you've got the advantage because I don't want people to miss any of this. You know what I mean? And it can happen. It can seem really quiet if you're not got it near your mouth.
I'll try again.
Good man. Sorry, carry on.
It is fashionable to hate equipped lifting. I don't care what anyone says. And I mean, even in summer, like, you know, when we do the old ask me any questions, and you'll scroll through people's things on Instagram and you'll see they're being asked questions. Who is it? I don't know who it is, and I don't know whether they're doing it tongue-in-cheek, but you've got like Sam Bollins. Someone will, every time he does it, what do you think of equipped lifting? And like they're trying to poke him with a stick to get a reaction. And there's a few lifters. I think even Delroy's had a few people, oh, what do you think of equipped lifting? Because they've not looked back in time and actually saying, oh, well, once Delroy finished with his Olympic lifting, he was actually a very, very good equipped lifter.
Yeah, 450
yeah,
squat,
450. I've still not beaten him yet. Oh, it's my aim next. But yeah, because they don't know their history, because they're green around the gills with powerlifting. They don't look back. You've got to know where the sport's come from to know where it's going to go in the future, in my eyes. And yeah, we may be the dinosaurs sticking our kit on, but at least we're going out and lifting.
Yeah, I think looking back as well, looking at the actual history of the sport that you're going into, everyone should.
Yeah,
no matter
everyone
what
should know
sport
who
it
Eddie
is.
Cohen is. Everyone should know who Louis Simmons is. You should know your history of what's gone before you even start.
Because you don't care about it otherwise. You're not a true aficionado of the sport. Like, you can't be if you only know the past couple of years. You're just not, you know.
Yes, BD crew.
So talking about Dello, you know what really kind of was kind of awesome about those equipped lifts? He did not spend any time setting that bar up for the squat. If you notice, he gets under the bar and starts squatting it within about like 3 seconds. It's almost like at that point I would be shitting myself, like almost literally, because I do for a squat anyway. But it's like he just switches off. He ducks under the bar, unracks it, gets a call, and then just squats it. Do you know what I mean? But it's 450 kilos.
That's just supreme confidence in knowing what you're doing, and you've got in your head, your mental cues perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas some of us are a bit slower with it, but every lift has to be the same. And if he's done that in training, why do it different? I'm a big advocate of competing the same way as you lifting in the gym.
Yeah.
So That's why I don't have loud music on in the gym. I actually don't mind the techno dance, whatever's going on in the gym, because you don't know at the comp. How do you know that they're going to be playing the song you like? How do you know there's going to be 50 people shouting at you and getting in your face? No, half the time you're lifting in a morgue.
Yeah.
And it's quiet. And you can hear your knees clicking, and you can hear every single person going, fuck, that looks heavy, and all that. So you need to get used to training like that. What if you haven't got your person in the corner amping you up? You're going to not get the comp and then moan about it on Facebook afterwards, saying, no one shouting my name. Oh, a big thing in that. And if that's how Delroy has trained, then that's how he does it. And he still does the same. You still see him rock straight up to the bar, no messing around, boom, done. And it stops you worrying about the lift, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess if you can do that,
Takes
it's
that,
probably the best way to
that
do
feels light and falling across the gym.
Let's talk about your methods then, because there are a couple of people, or at least a couple, I don't know, everyone you've coached. You mentioned Steph, obviously, and you mentioned Kim, who recently...
Yeah, I trained a bench.
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't have anything to do with her squats or deadlifts. It was just a bench to get her to, was it World Bench in Tokyo or something like that? I think.
Yeah. 130, wasn't it? And it was a British record in the 72s.
That girl, when she can bench to her full potential, I've had her bench 160 in the gym. So if you've take away, don't make her squat, don't make her bench, just let her, don't make her deadlift, just let her bench. She will bench 160 in comp.
Because her like technique and her arch and everything, is crazy. It's bang on.
It was so easy coaching her. It really was. She was just got it straight away. Worked a little bit on her back strength, because equip benching, it's just as much back as it is chest and triceps. In fact, your chest does very little. It's all tricep and back. So we worked a bit on her back, got her doing like loads and loads of rows, and then she's just benching like an absolute beauty. And I'm like, yep, that'll do. You're ready.
Yeah. I mean, I do her nutrition, and I can say the same. Like, even if she's not getting it 100%, the changes she's made are just mad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And she maybe had a little bit of a dip in her strength here and there, because she lost 5 kilos at the end of the day, but she got it all back and then some, I would say. But like the way she actually responds to stuff is just mad. Like,
her triceps, have you seen the size of them?
Yeah.
Like, she said to me, I'm a bit worried, because obviously she said to me, you're dealing with her nutrition and she'd lost a bit of weight, so I'm like, I'm going to have to take that shirt in for you. And she turns up with it, and I'm like, that shirt is now perfect. Whatever we've done with your triceps, and Alex has obviously got your protein spot on, because they have grown some. Yeah, it was quite good to see. And that was the session she got 160 in as well.
Yeah, with the, I think I remember seeing that session. It was some type of accommodating. It was 160 at the top, right?
Yeah, it was 160 at the top, but because of her range of motion, you know what I mean. There's very little deload.
Yeah, in terms of it's pretty much 160 all the way.
It
I know what you mean.
wouldn't have deloaded a lot, if anything. You're talking about, it was chain, talking about 2-3 links on that chain would have been deloaded, and that was it. So that's why I say it was a 160 bench, and I told her at the time that was 160, because I was there and there was 3-inch ROM, lovely.
So let's talk about the actual method then, what you do with people and what you do with yourself. How does it differ from West Side? You probably might have to explain a little bit here, because not everyone is even going to know how West Side works and how typical conjugate works. And all
I don't think anyone knows how West Side works other than Louis Simmons, because what he writes in Book of Methods is not how they coach now and not how they train now. But the basics are it's conjugate. So you got your speed day, your heavy day. You normally do on your speed lower day, you'd normally do your deadlifts as well.
Right.
And then you chuck in it more accessory work than you think, put it that way. So when I program people, because I tend to have the lone wolves, so to speak, and that's how I've had to train, like, because my gym can be quite quiet during the week, and I can't ask people who are PTs to drop everything at the whim of me. oh, can the 5 of you now stop to come and spot me? So I do a lot of raw work, which I know will carry over to my equipped lifting. So I do a lot of pin pressing, a lot of floor pressing. We do dead stop floor pressing, where you're starting off like 4 inches from your chest and driving it through. A lot of pin squats, a lot of Anderson squats. So that's where I'd say, I call it Tubby method. That's where my methodology from conjugate alters slightly, where I try and tailor it around you not having people around you 24/7. I mean, I have 1 day a week where I can rely on people to be with me because they come and train with me.
Weekend, right?
The weekend, that's it. And that's not Saturday, Sunday, that's just 1 day a week. So I have to pick and choose what I'm doing that week based around having the spotters. And that's how I coach people as well. And they hate me for it because they're not nice moves.
So how does what you do, Steph, differ to what Steve does? Because I noticed that when I come into the gym, when I come into Strength Factory, you're not doing the same thing. You're not doing the same session. It's not like you squat together. It's not like you bench together, etc., etc.
We can. We'll fall out. No, we'll always try and train opposites. Just so then I'll split it up like Steve does, but I'll have my own pattern. It's normally almost opposite to what he does. So if I'm in equipment, he'll be doing like a raw session. We'll always make sure we're not in equipment at the same time. So we'll always try and plan our week. So then we're not really clashing.
So you're not having to help each other loads and loads with the kit. If one is raw, they're not kind of like shuffling around trying to pull you into the kit. They can always help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, doesn't it?
But she does a lot of the movements that I do is pretty much what she does.
Yeah.
But obviously, whereas I'd use 400 pounds of band tension, she'll use 200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it like a 3-day-a-week split? Is it a 4-day-a-week split?
See, this is the... Sorry. I don't do a 4 days traditional West Side conjugate split. I'm more 5, if not 6 days a week.
Okay.
So I will do, and this is what Steph does as well. But this isn't how I program. This is just how I train personally. When I program, I chuck the back work in with the rest of the week, whereas we have a separate back day.
Right.
To absolutely annihilate your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I'll also do a day by myself movement, so sled pulls, some sort of active recovery work,
just some basic
to
conditioning.
keep myself moving.
Right. And do you find that, like, for you, Steph, do you also do the 6 days a week, 5 days, or are you?
No, I'm more like a 5 because it'll go when I'm in work. So yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. And do you find that, like, in terms of that, it fits with lifestyle mode? You prefer like more shorter sessions than like 3, even say in between 2 or 4 longer sessions? What do you find fits with life better? Because you do have to make a balance. That's what we all try to strive for, isn't it?
We don't get a massive amount of time in the morning.
You have an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Right.
So with our morning routines, it is normally an hour and a half tops. We have to be on time. We'll always start with the heavy stuff and then bang in the accessories, and then it normally works from that, really.
Yeah.
It
One of the
works for us.
main reasons I ask is just because I remember interviewing Tony Cliff for the mag ages ago, and he said that he used to train 2 nights a week. I thought he was trolling when he said that originally, because
Tony's another level. What he does in his basement, or wherever it is, his little dungeon he has set up, I wouldn't have the guts to do that.
he's walking out 400 kilos.
He's walking
squats,
up 400 kilos,
Yeah.
and his missus is doing the washing next door.
And he said though that he trained 2 nights a week, but he wasn't getting enough family time, so he split it to 5, but all 5 of those were an hour. And it obviously it made me think with trying to balance stuff as well, which kind of, it seems counterintuitive, but if you can just get something done in
It's a lot easier to explain to your missus that you're only going to be an hour every day than, oh love, I'm going out for 5 hours on a Sunday.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so when you look at it like that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, disappearing off for 5 hours to a gym on your weekend, yeah, you're in the doghouse, mate.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's not just so much about being in the doghouse, it's about not wanting to feel selfish. That from my point of view, that's what I feel.
And at the end of the day, we all need to remember this is not a professional sport. So We can't do, like, if we were playing football, you can say, I'm going to work now, you're playing football 9 till 5. We can't do that because we're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
There are no professional powerlifters, especially in this country. I don't care what anyone says. No one is able to sit indoors all day and just go to the gym for 3 hours and say, that's me lot. They're all PTs, they're all working, they're all doing stuff. There are no professionals. So we have to have that balance. You have to be able to justify what you're doing, especially with the money that this sport costs. If you're not able to make good with your family time and everything else, you're going to be very single very quickly.
Yeah.
There's not that many understanding people around to be in a relationship with. Even if they do share that sport, not a lot of people put up with that for long.
Wise words, mate.
I do try.
Okay, before we talk about the future of your lifting, let's talk a little bit about nutrition.
Oh no.
Because obviously it's a part of it can be a part of the sport for some. Obviously, Steph, I've noticed that, like, you know, you're quite a jacked lifter. Do you know what I mean?
I am now.
Do you do anything to try to do that, or is it just kind of like that the lifting itself, coupled with kind of what you eat instinctively, just kind of supports your physique? Or do you think, right, okay, I'm lifting, so I've got this plan set up for myself, or what?
Well, it all kind of just comes together, obviously, with the training. You need to eat food.
Yeah.
So I'm quite good at balancing my food myself. I always have. Well, I'd say I always have been. I have been more than what I never used to eat food, so I've been a bit better now than I was in the past. So I'll always balance my food because I know I need to eat it to progress, you see. So I'll always try and have 4 or 5 meals a day. If I eat bad in the morning, I'll eat better in an evening. So I'll never eat all rubbish, but I don't really restrict any foods or anything.
Yeah.
So I'll just eat as I've learned to listen to my body more now, really. I know if I need to eat food. If I'm hungry, I will just eat. If I come in from work late at night and I'm hungry, I will just eat something before bed. But yeah, I'm a lot more in sync with my body now than what I used to be.
And I think that's a big thing as well, because I think women in general are fed this this notion of it's feminine, or it's this, or it's that, or the other, or as a woman you shouldn't eat if you want to look good. But as we know, that's bullshit. And actually being able to lift and eat more and this and that and the other will support you, because, you know, you're actually you're in a sport, or you're in a hobby which is burning a lot of calories. And what did it take you to kind of get over that? Because you said that you didn't used to eat. Was it like you didn't used to eat in terms of like, oh, I'll get fat if I eat, or was it more kind of like, oh, I can't be arsed eating?
Right, I can answer this.
Oh,
so when Steph first approached me, as we were in our first early tentative stage, is that even a word? Tentative, there you go, stages of our relationship, she said, oh, I'd love to have a go at equip lifting, and my first words were to her, you need to start eating. And I can remember it as plain as day, the conversation, and she went, I can remember this little mousy, okay. That was all I got. And then that weekend we went to Miller and Carter's and she ate like a horse. So something had clearly clicked in that she wanted to start eating, and she's never looked back. But then we can also go back to one of the people I coach. She's from a what do you call it? It's a bodybuilding class, bikini or something like that, physique. And I think that is so unhealthy. That whole niche of they're in this hole. You need to look like this, you need to look like that, you can't eat more than 1,200 calories. And she's come to me saying she wants to get big and strong. So I've programmed her, and then I get a message, I don't feel too good. I'm like, how much have you eaten? And she sent me over what she'd eaten that day, and I was scared for her. So she got the telling off, she got the Tubby telling off, like, you need to eat. And fair play to her, she has gone out of her skin now and then is eating so much better. And Alex, you want to see the change in her now? She's got a full-on six-pack, muscles on top of muscles. She's getting trolled constantly, accused she's on steroids when she's clean as anything. And it's like, and she just keeps saying, yeah, you were right. The change in her, and I mean, we're talking weeks of difference. So she's kept her training as it was. I'm not giving her any extra training, not giving her anything extra to do. Just told her, you eat like this. You need to be showing me and my fitness pal once a week when I ask you, showing me that you've eaten at least 2,500 calories a day instead of 800, 900.
Yeah, because it's very hard to come back from eating 800, 900 if you get in shape that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that's what starts off like kind of quasi-eating disorders from girls who've competed and stuff.
And it's scary. She still says to me, oh, I don't want to get fat. And I'm like, yeah, but you want to deadlift 200 kilos, so you need to eat more. You need to fuel it. But then Steph is the example that I always send anyone that says that to me. I don't want to get fat. I said, show me a bit of fat on her.
She's very lean.
But I think people will look at me and go, and she said it to me, this girl, she says, oh, this person's asked if you can forward to me your details for coaching. I'm like, yeah, just show me Instagram, whatever, and then they can DM me. And I know full well she's wasted her time, because they'll look at me and I eat like a pig. I'm not going to thingy that. I've been on more diets than I can even count now. But anyway, I look at me and go, he can't get me like her. I don't know what she's doing, but it ain't what he's telling her, because he's a fat lump. It's just breaking them out of that fault.
It's just taking a step into the unknown, really, isn't it? Like, because I was so stuck in my ways of not eating food, drinking energy drinks, and eating fat burners like they were toffees, and just it took me ages to get out of it. And then once the food started going in, I started seeing the little muscles growing. I was like, oh, actually, I quite like the appearance of this. Like, let's see what we can do. And it took me a while to alter to the whole situation of having to buy bigger clothes and not being able to go shopping and going for the size 6 and the size 8s. And now I'm going for the mediums and small men's. And it's like, I've never felt better.
Yeah, better. More healthy physically, more healthy mentally.
Exactly, yeah. I actually want to go a bit bigger. At the minute, I keep saying to Steve, like, why don't we try and pack on a bit more muscle and a bit more size and see where that takes us next, which is like completely the opposite to Steph 2 years ago, really. It's like, I never thought I'd be saying that.
Yeah, you need the muscles to lift the weights.
Exactly. I want to see those numbers grow. Need to eat more.
So let's talk about your nutrition, Steve, because obviously, on the other token, as a super heavyweight powerlifter, you super now or 140?
141.
141, just about a super. You need that food to actually lift the weights, to actually fuel yourself, keeping yourself that big. Do you know what I mean?
I think I've got something wrong with my stomach, and I'm going to get trolled to hell when people listen to this. I eat not even half as much as what people think I do, yet everything I eat just goes straight to my love handles. No matter what I do. And it's not even like, you've seen me train. I don't train light. I don't train easy. I train quite hard. But everything I do, and I'm sure it's something either with my stomach or just that I'm too sedentary at work. Mm-hmm. It just packs on. And then I have got a thing for takeaway food as well. But that's not that often. Even when I do stick to a diet and I'm on 2,200 a day, I'll be lucky if I lose half a kilo a week. And for a fat man, that should fall off me.
Yeah, it should, really.
When you look at your nutrition things and your BMI charts and how many resting calories and all that, 4,000 or something like that just to stay as I am. I eat 4,000, I'll be 180 kilo by the end of the week.
That does seem suspect.
It could be to do with the other medicines and whatnot, but that's different.
I mean, you don't know, do you? Because you get a lot of lighter people taking the same stuff, and they're still a lot lighter. Do you know what I mean?
Every single side effect is weight gain. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Right. But you're all right. I mean, I am wary of protein levels, and I know that I need to eat to recover as well. And like the other week, I felt awful after my max effort squats. I felt terrible, didn't I? And I was still trying to eat well, like it's within my diet. And Steph actually said to me, it's quite nice for a change. You need to go and eat more. You need to go and have a pizza, because I was awful. And so yeah, I do try and eat. It just doesn't work. I'm just one of those weirdos.
You're not a diet person, are you? No.
But it's so what I'm getting at is it's not a plan as such. You just make sure you've had some. If you're gonna train in the evening, do you just make sure you've had some? No, you train in the morning, don't you? Because you're 12-8.
Yeah.
Right. So do you just make sure that you've had a good breakfast and that you have something on the tail end of that workout?
No,
to make
I
sure
have
that
50 grams of granola and a little tub of yogurt.
Which makes no sense whatsoever.
And then all I'll have when I've finished is 2 scoops of Optimum Nutrition
Normally,
protein.
when you're training for a big heavy session, you'll eat the night before.
Yeah, it's the night before. So
He'll bank it the night before, and then normally have something quite moderate for breakfast, and then moderate again after training, I've noticed, and then it's early evening to late evenings is your downfall.
But it's planned though, isn't it? That's what I'm getting at. There's a plan. There's a method.
I know I need to eat. I
Right.
know I need.
Okay.
Just diets and me just don't mix. Just don't tell me I'm on a diet.
Okay, let's talk about just the future now. Let's wrap this up with the future. The immediate future is the Irish Pro for both of you, isn't it?
Oof.
We are now 4 weeks out from that.
Yeah, I've lost 4 weeks training as well because some inconsiderate idiot at work decided to spill their coffee down the stairs, and I sort of jolted my hip. And thought nothing of it at the time, otherwise that would have been in the accident book and I would have been off sick for a little while. But and the next day I woke up and I couldn't move my hip, and I was like panicking. So I got down to physio and it locked all my psoas up, which is then a reoccurrence of the injury I had at Worlds last year. So I lost 4 weeks of this running basically to Irish Pro, so I'm panicking a little bit.
Do you have any goals? Goals for the comp, numbers wise?
My good friend, Shauna Mendelson, name dropping there, has told me that she will not accept anything less than, 500 kilo, 410, 320. Anything less than that and it's a failed comp.
That's going to be crazy.
And I'm going full pelt for those numbers, because having Kalle Räsänen, one of the best equipped lifters around at the minute, I mean, he's going to win WPO. Let's stop mincing around there. He will win WPO this year. He's also listed at Irish Pro. All he has to do is put in an opener, and he's won.
He is really good. To be fair, he is.
I'm free reign. I've got nothing to lose. I may as well push my numbers. So I've put all my training. I've actually been naughty, and I've done my program as I've done it the opposite way round. And I'd never coach anyone like that. I would never tell anyone to do that, but I've done it anyway. So all my speed work, all my percentages have been based around a 500 kilo squat.
Right.
And everything has worked. I'm still nailing the speed, I'm still nailing the volume. So it is there on paper. So it's just doing it on the day then. And then nailing that 410 bench, I will be dancing afterwards.
What was the top band tension the other day that I saw you with?
We couldn't work it out. So we had 2 sets of Monster Minis doubled up, which had 50 kilo pair set up. So that's 100 kilo band tension. And then I used an Elite FTS average band, which they say is not average. It's a very strong band actually. And I doubled that up as well. So when we tried to weigh it, it come up with error.
Right, yeah.
On a pair of scales which go up to 200 kilos. So there was about 300 kilo band tension there. Unracking it was like hell. I actually thought something was going to pop, but I got sort of what I wanted done, and then my final one I couldn't do because something weird was going on with that bar and the monolift, and nothing was happy after that, and it was just like, yeah, we need to stop now.
The Kabuki one.
Mikabuki one, but now we're like, was it the monolift as well? Because that was a lot of weight on that bar, and we didn't quite realise how much weight was on that bar either. At the top, I know it deloads and everything, but it was at the top. There was creaks and things happening in the whole room, put it that way.
Right, so it'd be cool to see you hit those numbers. I imagine I'll have gone by then from the venue to get my flight and whatnot. I've not booked it yet.
We're on the Saturday, on the same day as you.
I'm on the. Oh, you're on the Saturday.
I'm on the
Right, I'll
Saturday,
see it then.
yeah.
It'll be cool to see that. I didn't know. I thought they'd split it up.
No.
2 days. What are the 2
Yeah.
days for then?
Men's and women's.
Ah, right, okay. But didn't you? But I thought you said that they put you on the same day and it had caused.
That's.
Have they? I'm confused now.
Yeah, I've told you something you shouldn't know yet. That's why.
Oh shit! Right.
You might need to edit that out.
Ah, I can't be asked editing anything. Hopefully,
They're
hopefully the
talking
wrong
about-
person
they're
won't
talking
listen.
about putting the women's equipped on the same day as the men's equipped.
Men's equipped.
Okay, but officially they're not talking
So-
about that.
No, but just so that there's all the equipped is done on the same day.
Okay.
So makes it even and fair.
Moving swiftly on. Steph, how are you feeling about the Irish Pro, and what are your goals numbers wise?
I'm looking forward to the Irish Pro. I would like, numbers wise, to hit. I'd be happy with a 250, 260 squat.
Uh-huh.
And I would like to finally get the 140 bench that I've got in the gym in competition.
So many times.
And if I PB on my deadlift in comp, I'd be happy with that. So anything over the 202.
Yeah.
Been having some grip issues with the deadlift, you see. So anything over that will be a bonus. I have had 230 off blocks. Obviously, that would be beautiful, but that'll happen one day in the future.
Definitely.
Sorry, what's your weight class? 60?
67 and a half.
67 and a
Yeah.
half. So
I won't let her cut down.
I don't weight cut for comps. I always weigh in bang on 64, 63, 64.
Cool. There'd be some crazy numbers to see.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be cool.
As long as I
It's a
outwalk
final
her, that's
total.
all that matters.
Yeah, this is what he says. Yeah, right, dear.
She's above me on milks at the minute. And I'm reminded constantly. So.
He reminds me constantly. It clearly bothers you
and
more than it
remind
bothers
as
me.
well. Then other people now remind me as well.
Well, that actually made me think of the questions that we got. You know what? I wish I could get on my the phone is recording it, and I wish I could get on that to actually see if there've been any more. But the first one was because obviously I put the videos up of you two training.
Yeah.
Steph was squatting 225, and you were benching 210.
210, yeah.
And the first question we got was, it was to you, like, why can your girlfriend lift more than you?
This is true.
Right.
I'll tell you that's the epitome of your coaching. When
Here we go.
when what was it? What's the Star Wars coach? The Star Wars quote. Now I am the master. When the Padawan becomes the master, something like that.
I have no idea.
Well, that's the epitome of being a coach, isn't it? When your lifters are better than you, then you know you've done well. There you go. I'm being quite politically correct now.
Okay, so from the ones I can remember without being able to view them, Steph, I think it was Faye who asked this one. It was about how do you feel about being just about the level of competition in the UK, multi-ply? How do you feel about do you wish there were just like more women doing it, to be honest?
I do wish there was more women doing it. Obviously, it would push me a bit more because I always have to look a bit further afield for inspiration. Obviously, that's why I looked to Marianne in Finland and then Heidi in America. Is my inspiration.
Yeah.
Managed to share a platform with Heidi in November, so that was cool.
Yeah.
It's really, really lovely lady. But yeah, it would be good to see more UK multi-ply lifters.
I think both of you probably agree with that just in general, don't you? Which we've already kind of touched on, that it'd be nice if there were more people, more
Yeah,
competition.
definitely.
Yeah, it would,
Big time.
definitely.
Always welcome to be beaten.
Okay, so aside from the fact that we didn't really, I imagine there are probably more questions there that I've not read. My fault there. I think we've got a decent amount of info across to people there. 1 hour 20 minutes. First multiply people we've had, first current multiply people involved in multiply we've had on the podcast, and it's been an absolute pleasure to interview you both. So thank you very much for that. And I'm sure I'm going to see you on Sundays before the Irish Pro.
Don't you worry. You're penciled in for spotting, my friend. Don't worry about that. See how. I actually saying that, a funny story. I can remember the first time he turned up at Strength Factory, and it was with.
Was it Brown?
We was with Martin Brown, yeah, and I was doing something ridiculous on bench. I think it was like a 420 reverse band bench, and you both got nailed into spotting or handing out or something. And I just remember your faces like, you're like, oh, what the fuck have we walked into?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got plenty more of that coming your way.
It was funny because Brown and I said the other day when we were there the other day and everyone was there, I'd just driven 3 hours down from the northeast. Brown just mentioned, he said, no matter what happens, something like this, no matter what happens, we always end up back here. It was funny because it's not like our regular gym or anything, but Brown and I always seem to end up back at Strength Factory.
It's a great little gym.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, and we've got everything there we need. The owners and the staff, they're all powerlifters or ex-powerlifters. They all know what they're doing. We put on great comps there as well. It surprises me that more people don't come and visit, to be honest, because we've got everything there.
Yeah.
But then I like it at the same time because it means I can get on the monolith when I want. So.
Yeah, that does have its advantage rather than waiting around and whatnot. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up there. Again, thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.